To another video here with the Giants team breakdown. This is my second recording of this because the first time the audio got messed up, so hoping that doesn't happen this time. If you're watching, then it probably didn't, so let's get right into it. Last season, 9-7-1, third in the NFC East, 6th in the NFC, made the playoffs, lost in the divisional round to the Eagles. Overall, I think overperformed people's expectations. Saquon got back to form. There were a lot of people who weren't sure if he was going to be able to get back to what he was before injuries. And Daniel Jones took a big step up from where he had been previously. A lot of people kind of questioning whether or not he was capable of being the Giants' franchise quarterback. And he proved that he was and earned a second contract from the Giants. Looking at the additions, tight end Darren Waller, cornerback Amari Oruwariye, Bobby McCain, safety Paris Campbell, wide receiver Bobby Okereke, Jamison Crowder, Cole Beasley, and James Robinson. I really like their additions here. Darren Waller is a good weapon on offense, which they didn't really have outside of Saquon Barkley, like a real true offensive weapon. They have a lot of receivers, but no real star that stands out. You add Paris Campbell, Jamison Crowder, and Cole Beasley to that room here. Crowder and Beasley, I'm not sure, are going to play a huge role, more just depth pieces. Paris Campbell would be my pick to maybe emerge as that top guy. I do like Paris Campbell. And then James Robinson, you recently signed kind of in response to Saquon threatening a holdout, but they did get I believe, 1 year, $11 million extension done with Saquon, so the threat of a holdout probably not there anymore, resolved for at least this season. So James Robinson just going to be a depth piece, backup, maybe have some involvement. And then addressing the secondary with Oruwariye and McCain, and then linebacker with Bobby Okereke. Overall, I like the additions. Looking at the losses, you lose a pair of safeties in Julian Love and Landon Collins, as well as a pair of interior offensive linemen in Nick Gates and John Feliciano. You also lose Richie James and Kenny Golladay from that receiver room, but don't feel like either of those are too big of losses, and they'll have been filled in through the draft and free agency already. And then you also lose Oshane Ximines on the defensive line. Looking at the draft class, you start with Deonte Banks, the corner out of Maryland, in the first round. I think it's a solid pick, adds to that secondary, which I think has been much improved from last season with Banks, with Oruwariye, with McCain, even though you do lose Julian Love and Landon Collins. Next, you get John Michael Schmitz, interior offensive line out of Minnesota, to play center, to replace John Feliciano, who you lost. You get Jalen Hyatt to add to that receiving room, Eric Gray, depth running back, and then Trey Hawkins, Jordan Riley, and Javarius Owens to round out the class. Overall, solid draft, and I think they addressed their needs pretty well. Looking at their opponents, it is a tougher schedule. NFC East is a tough division to play in. You also play the NFC West, that has some tough teams. The AFC East is very tough. And then also the Packers, Saints, and Raiders. So, as a result, kind of a spoiler for my prediction at the end, I think that even though I think the team improved, the more difficult schedule could result in a slightly worse overall season than last year. And when I say slight, I mean very slight. I won't reveal too much of my predictions yet, but just saying that if I do think that the team did get better. So looking at the ceiling, this is half a game better than they did last season at 9-7-1. This is 10-7. Have them getting swept by the Eagles, sweeping the Commanders, splitting the Cowboys, beating the Rams, Seahawks, Patriots, and Packers at home, and beating the Cardinals, Saints, and Raiders away, losing to the Jets at home, and losing to the 49ers, Dolphins, and Bills away. On the other side of things, looking at the floor, more of a result, as I said, of the tough schedule. I do think that this team got better from last season, and I definitely expect them to be above this floor, but it is possible with the games they have here. So I have them in this scenario being swept by the Eagles, splitting the Commanders and Cowboys, beating the Rams, Packers, Patriots at home, and the Cardinals and Raiders away, then losing to the Jets and Seahawks at home, and losing to the 49ers, Dolphins, Saints, and Bills away. Looking at my prediction for them, half a game worse than last year. Have them getting swept by the Eagles, splitting the Commanders and Cowboys, beating the Rams, Seahawks, Patriots, and Packers at home while losing to the Jets, and beating the Cardinals, Saints, and Raiders away while losing to the 49ers, Dolphins, and Bills. So that's all I have to say about the New York Giants for next season. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you agree, if you disagree, if you think that they're going to do better or worse than I said, feel free to let me know.